What's up, everybody? This is Mr. Second Passport. Today we're gonna see. I'm calling it a scam because that's what I think it is. That the airlines are pulling on us when we try to fly from Latin America up to internationally to North America or Europe or wherever, or vice versa. And it's something you should know before you book in this COVID influenced new environment that we're living in right now. So what's going on? Let me explain. As you know, as you may know, I work at an airport hotel, Quito Airport Suites, near the Quito Airport. Right? I'll put that website up there for you if you want more information. I've had in-depth knowledge, and I've been here several years now, and I have in-depth knowledge of the flights that go in and out of Quito on a daily basis. There used to be 10 to 15, as much as 20 even, a day, international arrivals. Now you can see what's going out today, or excuse me, what's coming in. What's coming in today, 15th of October. You can see there's literally 3 flights coming in. One from Houston United, one Air Europa, and one LATAM from Lima, which is a brand new flight that just started up again. There used to be JetBlue flying every day, Delta flying here every day and back, several American Airlines flights, along with the United flight that has started up again to Houston direct, a whole bunch of Copa flights, usually connecting through Panama, LATAM flights connecting usually through Lima or Santiago, Chile. Even there was GOL, a Brazilian airline, flying here in the beginnings of 2020, etc., etc. So a whole bunch of airlines. And now, what are these airlines doing? Basically, and what I've seen with several people that I've talked to, clients of mine, here at the hotel, and I don't think it's right, so I wanted to mention it so you don't get caught. Um, they're basically selling tickets in the future for future dates that they have zero plans on executing, actually executing the flight. You know what I mean? So, like Delta, for instance, has pushed back their date to actually continue to fly back to here to Ecuador again. They've pushed it back and pushed it back and pushed it back, and they're still not flying here. And I have a hunch they may never fly here again, or at least for the coming years, if the demand just isn't there. You know, but when you go online, you know, here you go. You go to a site like Google Flights or wherever, right? Look at December 26th of this year, 2020. Look, you can click and buy a Delta flight coming to or leaving from Ecuador. Same with JetBlue. Now, JetBlue has flown here a few times in the last few months, a few times, but certainly not every day like before. Delta hasn't even started flying here again to Quito, but they'll sell you the ticket. Why do they do it? Well, I work in the travel industry, so I know. A lot of normal, good, hardworking, honest people, well organized in their life, will book international travel 2, 3, 4 months in advance. So their plan is to sell you the ticket, take your money right away, and then they have your money for those 2, 3, 4 months, and then they'll cancel the flight on you last minute, which is what I'm seeing happen. Or maybe it might be a week, or they might give you a week or two heads up, and they'll cancel the flight on you, saying, "Hey, sorry, we're not flying that flight that you bought our ticket for." So they actually, you gave them like an interest-free loan for that whole months ahead time that you booked, and then you're scrambling last minute, screwed, maybe stressed out in order to remake travel plans. And then what do they do with your money? Well, of course they have to refund it, but what I've heard some people tell me they're doing is they're delaying the refund. They're putting these extra hoops or whatever, stretching it out, the time after the actual flight date until you actually get your refund. They're kicking the can down the hall as far as they can before they actually give you your money back. And what they're hoping is, and what actually happens a lot, you'd be surprised. You'd say, "Oh, I never do this," but it happens a lot. That, I'd say even 1 out of 3 people simply forget or desist, about their money and about their refund requests. If enough time passed, that's their secret weapon. A lot of people will just forget about it. So I think that's probably their strategy. I'm guessing. So it's definitely something to keep in mind before you book travel in this new COVID world we're living in right now. Take a look at United Airlines. Um, they just published their earnings on the last corner for their stockholders, and you can see, now they're burning through $25 million a day, here in the third quarter, down from $40 million a day in the second quarter. Not exactly a business you want to loan, say, $800 or $1,000 to. Heck, they might not even be around come your flight date. They might not ever come back to Ecuador. We don't know. So what can you do to be careful when you need to book a return flight, maybe to the U.S., or you want to come down to Ecuador, or vice versa, or one of these countries down here in South America? The first thing you should do is not trust domestic flights either, right? Not trust domestic flights. Look at this airline, Tame, here in Ecuador, that used to fly to a bunch of destinations locally. It went under completely, right? Look at the website for the Quito airport on the arrivals and departures for domestic flights. There used to be 30 or so a day, and now there's 5, and one of them got canceled. They're canceling last minute, and what they're doing is they're making stuff up. Oh, it's real windy or a mechanical problem. Sorry, we have to cancel. But they'll cancel on you last minute, and basically leave you high and dry. They'll make an excuse, but probably the real reason is it's just not profitable for them to make that flight due to lack of demand or whatever. But they can't say that, so they'll make up something else. So what should you do? Maybe, I hate to say it, but if you live in a place like Cuenca, maybe fly internationally out of Guayaquil instead of Quito, because it's closer and you can get there by land more easily. So, just plan on that, or give yourself an extra day in Quito in case your flight cancels, because as you can see, there's not a flight to Cuenca today. So they're not flying every day. So if your flight cancels on you, at least you can get here by land, some way, by bus or by hiring a taxi or whatever. The next thing you should keep in mind is to, like I used to do, book separate legs with different airlines to get where I'm going, because it's just plain cheaper. I wouldn't do that in this new COVID environment, especially if to get somewhere by a certain date. I would book one solid flight with one airline, and that way they have to respond if they cancel one of the legs on you. And if you do fly separate legs, give yourself some extra time in those stopovers, because you're going to need it. You never know. The third thing you should keep in mind in order to avoid problems at the best you can in this new COVID environment is you got to do an extra step when you're booking that I'm going to show you now that you've probably never had to do before in your life. And that is go to the actual airport website where you plan on flying out of. In this case, maybe it's Quito. Like, this is the Quito airport website here. It's way better than Google for knowing exactly what flights are coming in and out and the exact times. Like, as you can see, there's only 3: the United, the Air Europa, and the LATAM. I know that American Airlines is coming, but not every day, like once every 2 days or so. But see what flights are actually leaving, on a day-to-day basis out of your airport, or what flights are actually airlines are actually flying out now. And that's a good idea of who you should book with for a future date, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 months down the line, right? And I didn't know this till I worked basically at an airport. And every flight has a flight number, and it's a specific route that leaves at a specific time every day in between 2 destinations. So when you're booking, actually look for the actual flight number. Why do I say this? Well, for instance, like, you can look from like Quito to Miami right now. You can book a Copa flight at 6 in the morning on that November 29th. You can book an American flight at 6 a.m. or another American flight at 3 p.m. But let me tell you something. The only American flight that's actually flying right now from Quito to Miami is the midnight red-eye flight. So, you should definitely take this into account and look for that actual flight number that's actually flying and book that flight instead of one that supposedly will fly, but probably, I'm guessing, not. All these airlines are just pushing their dates back and back to re-enter these countries like Ecuador, or re-enter fully. So it's definitely something that you should keep in mind before booking. See what flights are flying first, then go and book that exact flight number and airline and departure time, and then you are a little bit safer than just booking any flight that pops up that probably won't go. I'm Mr. Second Passport. I'll talk to you later.